I didn't hear the noise.
Oh, we're live.
Yeah, we're live.
Okay, cool.
Twilight, we're live.
Hi guys.
Hi.
Whoever's watching.
Yeah.
Hi.
This is
I think
like.
we're just gonna go down the line and introduce yourselves. The way we're gonna do it is you're going to another Selena, awesome.
Why is everybody duplicating?
Like 10 minutes before we started, there was Kelly. Okay, so we're just gonna introduce ourselves, say our channel names, and then
We're live.
we're live, guys. We're live.
Everybody's just confused.
So how do we see if people are watching?
Oh, there's people, so that's all that matters.
Gonna go down the line.
Okay.
So
6 people.
you're going to another Selena.
6 people watching?
This is so chaotic.
I'm getting so much reverb. I'm like scared.
Okay, so
We're just gonna introduce ourselves, say our channel names, and then we're live, guys.
what is going on right now?
There's so much reverb. That's so. Oh my gosh.
There's people.
We're so not new to this at all.
You're going to another Selena.
6 people watching?
This is so chaotic.
I'm getting so much reverb. I'm like scared.
Okay, so we're
Oh my
just gonna
God.
introduce ourselves, say our channel names, and then we're live, guys.
What is going on right now?
Why does it sound like it's echoing now?
There's people.
Oh my gosh.
We're so not new to this at all.
Okay, let's just start introducing ourselves. Emma, go first.
Okay, guys, try and turn down your sound. Try and turn down your sound a bit.
Okay.
Okay,
Just quiet down a bit. Just quiet down a
Okay. I
bit.
think it might be good now.
Okay, so what we're going to do is everyone's going to go down the line and say their name, their channel, and their first impression on Twilight. So, alright, so I'm Emma. My channel is Emma Books. Oh my god. I'm Emma from Emma Books. When I first read Twilight, I loved it. I remember I used to want to change my name to Bella and move to Washington. Like, it was ridiculous. I was so obsessed with it.
Okay, so what we're going to do
So obsessed with it. Selena, why don't you go next?
we're going to do is
Okay, hey everybody, I'm Selena, and my channel is OXXX Snap, but you can just call me on Snap, that's easier than adding X's. When I first read Twilight, I know
my channel is Emma Books.
I felt like it was really, like, I don't even know what to say, I loved it. It was like God's gift to Earth for me. It's like, this is the best thing ever, I just need to be a vampire, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's it. I thought it was the best thing ever, and I'm so happy that I got to reread it. Next person.
Hold on a second.
Okay,
Anna said,
Red, why don't you go?
Okay.
Did y'all see
Hey,
that Anna on
I'm
Twitter
Red
said she
from
came
Little
out
Red Reader, and when I was 15 and I first read it, my very first impression was, why the hell do the vampires sparkle? Like, I just remember that was like the biggest thing that like popped into my head. I'm like, I don't understand what's happening right now. Like, why is this skin made of diamonds? I was like, is that a thing? Does your skin just like alter when you get bitten? Like, I don't know. It was like weird. It's like if you touch it, is it gonna feel like diamonds or does it feel like skin? Like, I don't know.
Just as a thing, I
I was
realized
so-
that I had the live show
I
up
was so
on
taken aback by
YouTube,
that.
and that's why it was reverbing. So I X'd that out, so now it should be quiet. I am such an idiot. Okay, right, continue.
But yeah, I just remember that was just the one thing. Like, I mean, I ended up really liking the book. It wasn't my favorite, but I enjoyed it. But I really could not figure out why they would sparkle and what that could possibly do for them as vampires.
Okay.
All right,
Ray, how
I
about
tag whoever's next.
you?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay, so my name's Ray. I'm from Ray of Sunshine Books. I read Twilight at a very young age when Breaking Dawn just came out at like 2008 or something, so I was like 10 or 11. And like I checked out Twilight New Moon from like the library and I read it. I just thought like it was really weird. I really didn't understand it, but it was really cool. Like I had nobody to talk to about it. So I was just kind of like, oh, this is cool, like vampires. I never really read a book like this. Wow, like I really loved it. It's just like it was confusing to me, but like I read it slowly, so like I did understand it, and it was pretty good. Like I just remember liking it when I first read it. So next verse.
Oh.
Y'all want me to go?
Yeah, you go, Kelly.
I'm Kelly from Kelly's Bookstill. And when I read Twilight in high school, and it was probably about 7 years ago. I remember I read it, my friends were telling me to read it, so it was kind of like a fad at that time. And I started it, and I remember just hiding it in my textbooks and stuff at school. Like, I could not stop reading. That's all I did for like 4 days was read through the entire series. So I was addicted to it when I read it for the first time.
Alright, and then Enya, why don't you go?
Okay, so
Yeah.
hi, I'm Enya from Enya's Corner, and I just love Twilight so much when I read it, and I picked it up, and I read it in like a day, and I read New Moon the next day because I like tonsillitis. So yeah, I just adored those books, and I was obsessed with them for like 2 years straight.
Oh. Okay, so should we talk about the vampire challenge?
Oh, vampire! What are we gonna do?
First one, because we haven't explained the rules yet, so.
That's true.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is to make this live show a little bit more interesting. Every time anyone says vampire, they have to do something, and we haven't decided what they're going to do or something yet. So if anyone has any ideas, definitely say something.
So I've
I
already
have
got
my code word.
So I'd advise
I
you
have a
not say
special
about the vampire first.
I think we could just do something stupid, like do a push-up or something.
Or like do
I
it
can't do
like
it. What
push
is
up.
it?
I can't do a push-up either.
I can do half of one.
We read, we don't exercise.
Yeah, I really can't do one.
Okay, so I guess let's talk about how we feel now that we read it. Were our expectations the same, or what were we expecting going into it? How did we feel about it this time around, now that we're older, or whatever? So.
Okay, so do you want me to go first? Or?
Same order, yeah, same order.
Okay, I have to admit that I was once one of those Twilight haters. I read it, I loved it, then I got to high school and everyone hated Twilight, so I hated Twilight. Like, you could put any two things together and I'd be like, still a better love story than Twilight. Like, that was me.
I totally did that. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm just getting out of the car, so this is like awkward angles. I'm sorry.
It's okay. And then so after that, then when I was like started reading it again, I don't know what made me want to start reading Twilight again, like why I got the book set this whole thing started, but I think it was because I started watching the movies all the time, and so I was really excited to reread it. I forgot how much I loved it and loved the story and loved the writing style, so I was definitely pleasantly surprised.
Well, that's good.
Guys, we have a question.
We do?
Yeah, it's on Twitter. It's from Anna Read by Anna, and she said, "What's your favorite thing about Twilight? What's your least favorite thing?"
Okay, so we'll finish this question and then we'll go to that one. I'm still trying to figure out how to work the Q&A app. So, Selena, why don't you go and tell us why, like, your expectations of reading it the second time.
Okay. Well, going into this one, I thought I was going to think it was really immature. Well, the first time I read it, I was younger, so I thought Bella was really mature and she was older than I was when I'd read it. So this time going through, I was older than Bella this time, and I thought that I was just going to think she was naive and really immature. But yeah, I actually agree with what she did. I mean, sometimes she was irrational, but I don't know. I just love the character so much, and she is so sassy. I love her sass, and I like how she didn't let Edward control her, because that's a big thing. People say Edward's controlling, but girl, she did not let him control. I don't know. That's what I liked about it. I loved her sass. It was funny, and it was awesome. I loved it.
I remember on the discussions, I'm pretty sure it was you who were just, it was you, it was somebody, one of the hosts, and they were saying how when Bella gets hit by the truck, she's like gets all pissy because Edward's fine and she has to go in an ambulance.
Yeah. I love that part.
It was funny.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh. guys. I'm
Yeah, I
getting
think
the laptop
one of the things that always kind of bugged me about Twilight, though, that always like got on my nerves, and this would be in any book if they included this, was just how like she finds out that he's been hanging around in her room watching her sleep when she barely knows him, you know, and he's got this like immediate obsession, and she's just okay with it. If anything, she's flattered by this, and I'm like, I don't care how goddamn hot you are. I don't care that you're a vampire. Like, you watch me while I'm sleeping. When I'm sleeping, when I barely know you, I will stake you, and I won't even think twice about it.
Like, I don't care if you score.
I thought that was really weird too.
It's so creepy. That is so creepy. It's like, dude, come on now.
I just realized they never like they like had the whole like going out, like she took her own take on the going out and sun, like they never had the staking vampires thing or like anything like that included.
Yeah.
I just realized that.
Yeah.
Like, you either rip their head off or nothing. Like, we never really got an explanation on how you kill them or anything, really. You just kind of, like, they're there, they're alive, they're
You like
people.
tear them apart and burn them, I think. I'm
Yeah.
not entirely
It was
sure.
so much more violent than like most books.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was just really simple.
One thing I
like,
really like
the
about
writing-
Twilight, though, is I like how you can tell what kind of vampire they are based on their eyes. Like, if they're a good vampire, if they don't eat people, like their eyes are one color, and then if their eyes are a different color that shows that they do eat people, then you know to stay the hell away from them. Like, you gotta make your love life easier, right?
Yeah.
Totally just said the V word like 3 times. We have to think of a punishment for you.
That's so
I'm
true.
gonna start calling them vegetarians. Yeah, that's what they're all gonna be. They're just gonna be
I'm calling them
vegetarians.
sparkle things. Like,
Alright, what were your expectations?
like, for this time around?
Yeah.
Okay, so when
Or like, what did you think about it?
Oh, okay. So, like, when I first read it, I was like, oh, this is kind of boring. Like, I got a little bored, like, through parts of it. So I was like, okay, maybe when I read it now, like, it'll be better. Like, I'll understand, I'll expect it. And it was, like, a lot more fast-paced for me, I think. Like, I enjoyed it a lot more because I had already read it. And I did enjoy it a lot more than I did when I read it because, you know, I was really young. And I didn't get most of it. So, like, now around it was like, oh, well, I get that now. Like, it was really good. So, I enjoyed it a lot. Okay.
I definitely liked it better the second time. Like, I don't really remember reading Twilight all that much, but like reading it now, I'm just like full-blown Twihard all over again.
It's happening again.
I think I definitely, like, I feel, you know, because my perspective at 15 is completely different from my perspective at 22. You know, I mean, it's completely different, and I feel like I understood it in ways now that I didn't back then.
Okay. Kelly, what were your expectations or like reaction to going into it a second time?
Well, I honestly thought that I would be really bored going into it the second time because I've watched the movie, I've read the books, you hear all about it, but I forgot how, just like Selena said, I forgot how sassy Bella was, and I thought that was so fun to read how sassy she was and how just a smart aleck she honestly was. She was, I guess I got this vision of her in my head as not being that way and being very timid, and she's really not in the book, and it's probably because of the actor in the movie and how she acts in the movie, but the book, she's completely different to me.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it the second time around.
Well, the movie also, so my memory of like so many scenes, like
Oh my
things that I swore happened in the book didn't actually happen that way in the book. It's how it happened in the movie, and I didn't realize how much like the movies messed with my memory.
Yeah, no, definitely. I've watched the movies like probably like at least 10 times each, and like I'm just like really like I don't know. It was so weird because like I remembered everything from the movies and nothing from the book. Like I thought that we'll get to the scenes and stuff later, but like I know that like I was reading like the whole like part when you know the whole like say it out loud part, and I just that was so different in the book, and I completely forgot that was different.
Or
Okay,
like
Turn.
like she had such a weird reaction to her first kiss with him in the book, and they didn't include that in the movie at all, and it was such a big thing, and she was so embarrassed, you know, by her dramatic reaction, and I would have really liked to have seen that in the movie because I feel like it says something about her character and their relationship.
I so wish she fainted. Like that, I think that was like my favorite part when she just faints.
Yeah, they completely killed the kiss in the movie. It was way different in the movie.
Yeah. Alright, Anya, what was your reaction?
So like I don't know, I tried to be like a bit more critical than I was the first time because I read it so quickly the first time and so immediately obsessed with it that I tried to kind of, I don't know, analyze it a bit more, I suppose. And like Red was saying, the whole thing about like how he's like kind of a stalker in the beginning, I just like really noticed it a lot this time. I really enjoyed reading it again, but I just like I noticed all of the things that people had said were like negative about Twilight, and like I could ignore those because I really liked the book, but I think I actually still prefer the book than the movie though, because I had seen the movie so many times and I had only reread the book like twice or 3 times, and I just like noticed how much better the book was, to be honest. Like,
Well,
that was
yeah, and
amazing.
honestly, like, and don't get me wrong, like, I'm really not a Kristen Stewart hater. I mean, I tend to, even if I don't always like love her acting, I tend to enjoy her movies. So I'm totally not hating on her, but I don't feel like she played a very accurate Bella. You know, I mean, I would have liked to see somebody
I
that was more
agree, to be
emotional,
honest,
more
yeah.
heated.
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
just like
because she kind of just,
continue.
I mean, she really just made Bella so like awkward, and not in that cute kind of good way. She just made her kind of like awkward and weird. I don't know. She was just weird. Like Bella in the
and
movie
she
is
is so
probably
much
not
more
somebody I'd
sassy
want
in
to
the
be friends
book, like
with.
everybody was saying.
Like I like envision Kristen Stewart as Twilight, as Bella while I'm reading it, because like I've seen the movie so many times. So like now that like when I'm rereading it, like that's the only face I can see. Like that's something that happens. I feel like with all books movie adaptations, like when you're reading, like you see the person, the actor, even if you don't want to. So like that's why I see it as her. But I definitely think that she could have portrayed her better. Like I was gonna ask, like, do you guys think that the actors were like portray the characters well in the movie?
I feel like Robert Pattinson portrayed. I mean, he wasn't originally. Now he's all I envisioned for Edward. But when he was first cast, I guess it was different for like in my head. But I feel like he played Edward pretty well, but I might be biased because I absolutely love Robert Pattinson. So.
Yeah, same here.
I love the Cullens all together. Like, I feel like the actors they picked for the Cullens were perfect. Like, Keelan Lutz, you could not get better than him for Emmett.
Oh my god.
I was
Yeah,
so about to say Emmett has my heart.
I can marry that man one day. I just have to find him.
I think
I
Alice
always
is
thought that Jasper's hair was stupid, though.
Oh my gosh. Stop.
And I think that the girl that played Rosalie, I can't really remember her name. I feel like Rosalie was meant to be prettier. Like I feel
Nikki
like
Reed, was it?
yeah, it was Nikki Reed. I don't know. The way I envisioned Rosalie like drop dead gorgeous, like light emitted off of her like every second of the day. But I don't know. She never looked like my Rosalie, but I don't know. I feel like at this.
I mean, she was pretty, but I feel like she was supposed to be stunningly gorgeous. Yeah. They almost make it out to be like that's almost an ability or something in the book. She's so gorgeous, and Nikki Reed is very pretty, but I don't know that she's on that level of Rosalie.
Yeah. It was almost a fake pretty with her because they had to dye her hair blonde, and just it almost looked fake that they were trying too hard to make her pretty.
Mm-hmm.
I think Carlisle was just about perfect, though.
Yes. Oh my god.
He was amazing.
Okay, so because we're on the topic of the movie, Chloe asked us your favorite scene from Twilight and your least favorite scene. So, oh wait, I don't know if this means movie or book. Ooh. Which one are we going to talk about first?
Let's go with book first.
Book?
Let's go book first.
Yeah.
Somebody go first. I honestly don't know.
My favorite scene from the book is probably the fainting scene when and she's just like, put me down! That's definitely my favorite. But my least favorite, I think I don't like when, I don't know if this is the movie maybe ruining it for me or not, but I don't like it when Laurent and what's-the-face shows up. What's his name? I forget.
Or Victoria?
Yeah. When they show up in the baseball game. I don't know. I just don't get me wrong, I love the books, but I just it kind of slows down for me there. It kind of gets a little harder for me to read from that point.
Yeah. I just remembered. My favorite scene was in the epilogue when Edward and Bella are getting ready to go to the dance, or was it prom? Or was it a dance? Yeah, it was
I want to say it was prom.
Yeah, it was a prom at least, and I think Charlie calls. I'm like I don't know why I'm so fussy on the details. I just read this, but like Tyler's at the house getting ready to like pick Bella up, and then Edward gets on the phone and is like, "Hi Tyler, Bella's gonna be unavailable tonight, and every night for that matter." And I just died laughing. Like, this is so funny. Why wasn't it in the movie?
I love that part.
Like, I really wish that Tyler was a bigger character in the movies because other than like hitting Bella, he was kind of just brushed over entirely.
Right. Totally. And then, like, in the books, we've got that whole thing about him, like, trying to date her and stuff and take her to the dances, and it's just, it kind of adds, like, comic relief to the intense books.
Yeah.
And my least favorite scene, I can't really think of. It was probably something with Mike, because I really don't like Mike. But, yeah.
I kind of feel bad for him, though.
Yeah, he definitely gets my pity, but not my affection.
Like, I think for me, my least favorite scene, as I've established, is the whole, like, him watching her while she sleeps thing. It creeps me out. Like, it just, seriously, like, I would punch somebody in the face for doing that. I don't understand. That's not romantic. That's weird. That's why people get arrested. But I think my favorite scene, and I don't know why, this has like always been my favorite scene, and it's the ballet studio with James, because I remember, even though I was always very pro Edward, pro Bella being together, I used to always make this joke when I was in high school, because there would be like Team Edward, Team Jacob, and I was like, I'm Team James. It's really a tragedy about a vampire getting killed, because like James was always my favorite character because I thought he was such a badass, and I thought he just was the most awesome vampire, you know, because he's probably the only vampire that really lives up to what a vampire is supposed to be like.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Right, is your
not that I wanted Bella to die necessarily, but I thought the whole torture thing was pretty cool. Like, and it was in a ballet studio. Like, I thought that was an amazing setting for it.
Yeah. Ray, is your mic working yet? No.
I don't even see her anymore. I just see the peace sign.
Really?
Yeah.
You can see her. I can't hear her though.
Yeah, I see her trying to talk, but not going. Okay. Well, I guess while we try and figure out what's wrong with Ray, Kelly, why don't you try and say your least favorite scene and your favorite scene?
It's actually funny because, like, when you go from book to movie, like, one of my favorite scenes in the book is my least favorite scene in the movie. Like, in the book, I love whenever they're sitting in the classroom and how intense it is sitting next to each other and how awkward it is, but they did that so poorly in the movie. He looks like just, I hate the way that Edward looks in the movie, and that ruins it. And then also the another favorite scene is the baseball scene for me, especially in the movie. I just love that scene. I think it's so like awesome, and I get so excited every time I know that scene's coming. And then least favorite is probably going to just be the end of the book, mostly like the James, her and her father. Like, whenever she has to tell her father that she's leaving, I hated reading that scene altogether. It just makes me feel terrible. So.
Oh my god, I wanted to cry. It was so sad.
It was terrible.
Oh my god, we're actually getting some really good questions.
Oh my god, hi, there's a lot of questions. Enya, what was your least favorite and favorite scene?
I'm like trying to think of a least favorite scene, but I can't think of anything specifically. I didn't really like the scene when, she went to Port Angeles, and then the one where Edward saves her from the guys who were going to, like, I don't know, like, attack her or something. I didn't like that scene at all. I don't know why. I didn't like it in the movie either, to be honest. But my favorite scene is definitely as well the baseball scene, because, like, in the movie it was just epic. And what was that song played? Supermassive Black Hole by Muse. I just, like, it was perfect.
That was my ringtone for, like, all of middle school.
Seriously. Same for me.
I definitely think that was one of the best adapted scenes in the entire thing. Like, it was so good. Okay. Has anyone else ever seen? Has anyone else ever seen? Does anyone see a question that they like? All of them.
Ooh, from a performing book, though. If you can cast different actors as Bella and Edward in the movies, who would you choose?
I know that I personally can't answer this because whenever I see like Bella or Edward. Now the only people that I can see are the cast, so I definitely can't answer this. And like I could never like make like I know a lot of people do like dream casting videos on YouTube, and I'm just like I can't do that. Like I don't know enough actors to like dream cast anyone, and B, I don't know anyone that would like fit the role perfectly until I see it. So I can't personally answer this one, but you guys go ahead. I'm interested.
For Bella, I always thought she looked more like the girl from Gilmore Girls. I don't know her name, but
oh my gosh, Rory from Gilmore Girls.
Huh?
Oh my god.
Rory from Gilmore Girls.
What is her name? I can't remember her name.
Is it
Alexis Liddell?
I don't know her name, but I always thought she would look perfect. And then for Edward, I don't know. Edward's harder. Just some random hot male model, probably.
I don't know who I'd pick for Edward, so you'll have to come back to me on him. But I think maybe Saoirse Ronan might have been a good Bella, I think. I think she would have been a pretty good Bella. And I think she would have been a more lively Bella.
Yeah.
I'm always curious as to where this whole lip biting, blinking thing came from. That wasn't in the book. I don't know where it came from. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Which thing?
Like she bites her lip and like blinks a lot and like makes really weird faces, and I don't know where this came from. Like
that really
disabled or something. I don't know. It's weird. It is weird. It's like these weird like I feel like they're supposed to be character quirks.
Yeah.
But they kind of just make her I don't know.
No, I understand.
Not flattering.
Yeah. Does anyone else have any of the dream cast?
I think as Edward, the guy from Vampire Diaries, not Damon, but the other one. What was his name?
Oh, he would have been a good Edward.
Yeah, he could have probably been a good Edward.
I could see it.
He's like my favorite person ever.
I feel like he's got the bone structure and the hair.
Yes, definitely.
Great. Let's see. Has anyone read this series more than like the one time than this time?
These are just the only two. I feel like I might have reread Twilight one other time, like after I finished the series, like the whole series, after the fourth book came out. I think I might have reread Twilight once. I don't think I reread the other books though.
Okay.
I reread Eclipse like 5 times. That was like my favorite book in the series.
Okay.
The same for me. I reread Twilight about like 8 times, but never read any of the other ones. But I was just like, Twilight! When I would like turn it back over and be like, okay, let's do it again.
I don't know. I'm like one to read series like all the way through. Like I can't like stop. Like I need to like continue reading through the whole series. So I've only read it the one time, and I never owned it before now. So like I'll probably reread it more in the future. But I only read it once when I was younger, and then like now I'm rereading it for the live show.
My copy of Twilight is so beat up. It's so beat up. Like it's just
like my Harry Potter books.
Oh, my Harry Potter books don't even get me started on Order of the Phoenix.
Hey, I'm gonna keep up with the questions from Twitter because we're getting some from Anna on Twitter.
Yeah, I was gonna go see if we had any more on Twitter.
We have one. It says, "What Twilight character do you think you are the most like?"
Ooh,
that's a good one.
Angela.
Not Rosalie.
No.
Not Victoria.
Okay, so
I think
Go
ahead.
A bubbly personality, I guess, and he's pretty nice. I think I'm pretty nice, so yeah, let's go with Mike. I'm a guy now.
I think for me, like, I remember, it's actually kind of funny because, like, who I associate with is not necessarily what other people would associate me with, and there's, like, kind of a story behind that for me because this was, like, me reading Twilight. Like, Twilight was, like, kind of starting to make its rounds, you know, it hadn't quite hit the top of its, like, you know, the hysteria of it and everything, but it was starting to come and get popular, and I remember I was in high school and I'd have my friends or even sometimes people I'd never even talked to before, and they'd come up to me and they'd be like, "Oh my God, you're totally Bella," and I was like, "What are you talking about? That's not my name." And I think it was because like I naturally have like long brown hair. Like I'm like super like back then I was super pale, like super white. I mean, super white. They're, you know, and people used to call me, because I was so pale, people would nickname me a vampire anyway. And then it didn't help that I wore like a lot of black in high school. I wore a ton of black, and so much, and it was so bad. And people would tell me that I was either Bella or I was like Bella if she became a vampire. And so, and I remember finally, like, and then I got Twilight for Christmas. I was like, okay, now I can finally understand why everybody keeps calling me Eth and Bella. Like, why does this keep happening? And so I read the book, and I'm like, seriously, right now? You're comparing me to this person? You know, and personally, like, who I feel like like, I don't know, I feel like I've never really identified with Bella that much because I don't feel like I have as much difficulty at life as she does. Like, I can get through a PE class without scraping my knee. It is possible.
Yeah.
But
you can do it.
You know, but personally, like, I kind of feel like the one I like personally identify with, maybe like a less crazy version, would be Victoria. I don't know. I always felt like if Victoria was like a little less homicidal, like she and I could be fine.
I don't know. I can't really identify with any of them. Like, I can't be Bella because I hate the heat, and I would love to live in Forks for the rain. And I don't know. Victoria is homicidal, and just, I don't know. Can I just? And I'm not girly enough to be Jessica. Can I just be Lauren because she's so insignificant?
Which is kind of adorable too.
Yeah.
Very true. Very true. Ray, who do you think you're most like?
Well, I was obsessed with Jasper, and I still am. Like, Jasper's my favorite male character. I don't know why. Just that. Like, I was so obsessed with him and like the actor that plays him. So I wanted to be Alice, and I tried to convince myself that I was Alice. I'm like, oh my god, I'm having a vision. Like, oh my god, what's happening to me? And like, I was like 10 years old, so I was just like, oh my gosh, like, I am Alice Cullen. I am married to like Jasper. I win everything. I'm just like, so that's like who I thought I was back then. I still like Jasper, but I don't think I'm Alice. Because crazy.
Kelly, what about you?
I would probably identify myself the most with Angela, just because she's kind of quiet. Like, I have to get to know people before I really get outgoing and we'll start talking and things like that. So I don't know, she seems like the reading type, and I'm the reading type, and you know, just she seems to make the most sense out of the group.
I can see that. I can see that.
And yeah, who do you think you're most like?
I'd say probably Alice, just because, I don't know, like, I like doing people's makeup and their hair, and people at the parties are always like, will you do my hair? So that's, like, basically the only reason why I'm saying that.
Wow.
Okay, I got one on YouTube, and it's Team Edward or Team Jacob. I feel like because it's just Twilight, there isn't a lot of Team Jacob, but there's enough, like, evidence that you kind of start to pick a side. So I'm definitely Team Edward. I was always Team Edward. I feel like when the movie was released for New Moon, I was Team Jacob for, like, Taylor Lautner, but, like, book-wise, Team Edward, and now movie-wise, Team Edward. So, next.
Team Edward all the way. I don't even know why Team Jacob exists.
It's like Team Kleiman from the Wonder Woman series. Like, why are you guys here?
No, that's like.
Red, Team Edward or Team Jacob?
I think we all established I'm Team James.
Oh my god.
That's the best answer so far.
You get a ribbon for that. You get, like, a prize.
Ray, Team Edward or Team Jacob?
Oh my gosh, I was completely Team Jacob when I was younger because of the actor, which was so dumb because I didn't see past like his hot outer shell. And I just like went like I'm just like, oh, he's so hot, like I love Team Jacob, and like people were fighting over it at my school. So I'm just like, oh, I'm Team Jacob because everybody picks Team Jacob. But now I'm like Edward all the way, like except you know Jasper. Team
yeah, Jacob. I was like, oh, are you Team Jacob? Are you
yeah,
team
if it's between Edward and Jacob, Edward. If it's between all of them, Jasper.
Kelly, Team Edward or Team Jacob?
Team Edward for sure, but I like Emmett better than any guy on the whole thing. So,
Woo! I was watching Twilight like 2 days ago, and I was watching Breaking Dawn Part 2, and I was just like, how did they like? It's not like possible to be that built, and like he's not. Oh my god, I was staring at my screen for like 10 minutes. I was just like, oh my god, he is like monstrous. Like,
I just love his personality. His personality is just so crazy. I would love to be around a guy like that all the time.
yes.
Yeah, but, like, the way he looks is so
I think one thing too that I noticed was, I mean, there was always, like, even before New Moon or really anything like that came out, there was always like the Team Jacob, Team Edward thing with the series. However, I still think most people were Team Edward. And then New Moon came out, the movie, and all of a sudden I think people were not just switching teams, like going Team Jacob instead of Team Edward. I think it was more about Team Taylor Lautner. Like,
Yeah.
it was all about Team Taylor, because
so good.
people did not care about Jacob as a character until Taylor Lautner took his shirt off, and then everybody was Team Jacob.
Everybody was Team Taylor Lautner that day.
Literally on point. Right, Anya, Team Jacob or Team Edward?
Team Edward, definitely, all the way, but like Team Taylor Lautner too, and I think I was like Team Jasper for a while. I like really liked his character because I kind of liked Alice and I love their relationship. So yeah, half and half.
I'm surprised no one said Switzerland.
What'd you say?
I'm surprised no one said Team Switzerland.
I forgot all about that. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, nope, I'm Switzerland.
That's
Like,
because we're all too opinionated to be Team Switzerland.
yeah.
I really like this other question from Chloe. If you were a sparkly creature, we kind of gave up on this whole vampire game because you said it like 6 times.
We did.
But
It's impossible not to.
yes, it is impossible. What power would you want? And I don't know if we're doing like specific powers in the thing because we haven't been. For those who haven't read the series yet, the Volturi don't exist yet. So
Yeah.
I guess we can pick whatever thing or like just anything in the world. I would kind of just want. I like the reading minds part that Edward has, and I like the visions that Alice have. But Alice's visions aren't always set in stone. I feel like I get so pissed off with that because like
Yeah.
you know like I don't know. I feel
I'd
like
be
I'm so
so
annoyed.
annoyed.
I'm still trying to think. If I think about something specific, I wanna have like a really good answer for this one. But everyone else go. Well, I think
Can we pick like any power we want?
anything.
Okay.
Anything
I
that you think a
want
vampire.
to stop time, that way I can read all the freaking books I want to. Sleep at nighttime, and life will just be great.
That's so great.
It's a very good idea. Red, what would your power be?
I think I'm kind of with Selena on this one. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that movie About Time, where basically all the men in the family can go back in time, but only to like basically relive events in their own life. Like they can't go and like change history, but they can go and relive moments in their own life. And I think that would be really cool, you know, because if you want to redo something because it's not the decision you wish you would have made, I mean, I could think of plenty of times where I didn't say exactly what I wanted to say when I wanted to say it. I would have been, and I come up with like this great comeback later, be like, oh, that's what I should have said. Okay, now that's okay. I'm gonna go find a closet. I'm gonna go like do my little time thing, and I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna go say it, and I'm gonna walk away, and it's gonna be awesome, and I'll totally have won.
You win everything.
That is a pretty good power. Ray, what's your power gonna be?
I would totally read minds, honestly. Like, I've wanted that superpower since I was really little, like 2 years old. So I would totally read minds, and I would want the visions, but at the same time, I'd kind of be freaked out by like just seeing things every day, just like randomly popping up. I'd be just absolutely freaked out. So
Like
I'm just gonna
the Raven.
stick to reading minds.
Kelly, what's your power?
Okay. Mine, I have a defensive one and then a not defensive one. Like my defensive power, and this, I don't think this is a spoiler, but one of the Denali cousins can like electrocute people when she touches them, and that would be so awesome because I work in property management, so if somebody But then I think I would like the reading minds too, although it probably would be very difficult to deal with that all the time. But
Yeah. Yeah, if you could
Yeah.
I don't think I'd want to know what people were thinking, because sometimes even the stuff people say out loud, I'm like, oh my god, why did you share that with me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
No, I think I don't remember if I'm remembering this correctly or if it was from like something else that had to do with reading minds. But I feel like the way that he described it was that he like hears everything. Am I correct in saying that? And then like he just focuses in on that, or am I thinking of something different?
No, I
No,
think
you have it right.
Good.
Like, he kind of has to learn to filter out because he can hear everybody's thoughts.
Yeah,
But
okay,
it'd be
that
kind of
would
just like
bother
things
me.
bouncing.
There is an
Okay.
episode like that of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
I was just
Yeah.
thinking that. I was just thinking about that episode of Buffy.
Yeah,
And then
that
she like
would-
totally went crazy, and she found out about her mom and Giles.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And then Enya, what would your power be?
Like, I'm terrible at making decisions, so like I'd love if when like you had to make a decision, you could see like both the outcomes or like loads of different outcomes and like pick which one you wanted.
that is
It'd be so
Really
cool.
cool.
Oh my gosh, you are smarter than all of us.
And you would seriously win most practical answer.
Yeah,
Yes.
really, that's what I was
Oh
just
my
thinking.
You know what to say, like you just so good.
The only other power that I think that I don't know if it's actually in Twilight, but like being invisible, I would love to be invisible.
Oh my god.
I
Yes.
would love to be invisible.
That'd be so fun.
Okay.
Twitter question that I think is pretty good. If you could change one thing about the book, like the covers, what would it be? Like, let's just talk about the book covers. How do you feel
Yeah.
about the book
Okay.
covers?
I know that the book cover for Twilight represents the forbidden fruit, and like they have forbidden love, because I remember looking this up for Booktubeathon, but it didn't like play into the book, and like I know that like I watched a lot of videos where people are talking about like how like book covers are supposed to like, you know, give you like insight to what the book's about, and when you look at the Twilight cover, you don't really get that. I don't know, and like I don't know what the rest of them are supposed to mean. Like I'm assuming they have that whole like hidden meaning behind them with like the ribbon, is it a leaf or a feather? I don't really know, and then the chess pieces.
Yeah, they probably have like some underlying meaning, but I feel like nobody would understand
They
that
make
unless
no
they researched it. So like it
Mhm.
doesn't make it. It's not
The ribbon
practical for a
one-
cover.
I think the ribbon one is like because it's torn, so she's like torn between Jacob and Edward.
That makes a lot of sense.
We're like deciphering the covers.
The last one I think I heard like because there's the pawn and then there's the queen or whatever other one is, and then it's like her transformation from the pawn into the greater being or whatever.
Oh.
I don't
I
necessarily.
just feel like the whole like colored object on a black background is just so overdone with book covers in general.
Yeah.
You know, Twilight being
yeah,
the
like
worst
Twilight
offender.
really set that trend. Like I think they were the first kind of book series to do that.
Yeah, I forget. I don't remember if it was. I think it was might have been like a BuzzFeed article or it was a video, and somebody was talking about like generic book cover. Maybe it was actually Christine from Home Banana Books, but like somebody was talking about like how like generic book covers and like it was like the black background with white and red on it, and I'm just like that is literally the entire Twilight series.
Yeah.
But I also
Except I do like, it's so funny because I actually do like the Breaking Dawn cover. I think the Breaking Dawn cover with the chess pieces is kind of cool because I feel like it makes sense in terms of the story, and it was just kind of, it's a little bit different, and it like matches the other covers, but it's a little bit different too, and I really liked the Breaking Dawn cover. However, it's funny because that was my least favorite book in the entire series, but I like the cover.
I think that Cullen had a really big chance of being cheesy though. Like it could have been Obsidian cheesy. Like there was. They did a good job with just the apple in the hands. Like, could you imagine like seeing Edward's face like, "Hey y'all."
Like the Vampire Academy old covers, like it could have been just like this like sensual cover with them like. Like I feel like that would have been so much worse.
Yeah, like I was definitely thinking about it, I'm like, I don't want it to be like with the faces, like I haven't read Bloodlines yet, but like those covers are definitely
Yeah.
They are amazing books.
Faces on covers.
I can't wait to read it. Yeah, like I don't want a face on the cover, like I don't want Bella and Edward on the cover, but like I don't necessarily hate the Twilight covers, I just feel like they could have done different covers to better represent the books. Even if it didn't have to do with vampires, like just anything, I don't know.
I feel like, because I feel like, with the exception of maybe Breaking Dawn's again the only one that really makes sense within the context of the story. The rest of them, you look at the covers, and it's like, what does this have to do with anything?
Like, I remember seeing the cover of Twilight being like, why are there hands with an apple on the cover? Like, what? Is it about fruit? Like, is this a health book? Like, I don't understand what this book is about. It was
I
just...
definitely... Continue.
Let's go on the Twilight diet.
I definitely like how they included it in the movie, even though it was in the book when like it bounces off his hand. It was very, very cheesy, but I liked it. And I wish that was something they included in the rest of the books. Like, I mean, in the rest of the movies, like I wish like in Breaking Dawn. Oh wait, they did play chess in Breaking Dawn in the movie.
And you had the same chess board too. I think you had the red and white.
Yeah, I don't remember if they had like a ribbon and eclipse or like one of the things in New Moon, but if they did, good on them. But they should, if they didn't, they should have included that more because that was cool.
I feel like it would have been like cool covers if they actually went with like the phases of the moon, like, you know, Twilight, eclipse, new moon, breaking dawn. They just had like a new moon on the cover of New Moon, like it's just like translated into this moon cycle thing. I think that would have been like simple and cool. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that is kind of cool.
Yeah.
There was a
good question.
Do you guys remember Midnight Sun? Midnight Sun is not a thing.
Was that the Edward perspective thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least Twilight, Eclipse, like those are all actual things, but Midnight Sun, that's not a thing.
It's
like, what are you doing?
It doesn't exist. Stephanie, what are you doing?
Stop making stuff up, Stephanie.
I read it, and it was good.
I haven't read it. I remember like hearing about it in like 9th grade, but like I never went to read it. I was so excited for it, I just never like saw the leaked bit.
Yeah.
I didn't read it because I knew that she didn't finish it, and it would drive me crazy to like start it and then get into it and then not be able to finish it. That would just have driven me insane. So I never read it.
Yeah, like it sucks that she stopped writing it like after it got leaked. Like she promised that book in Everest Perspective, but like she just never finished it. Like I feel like that's such a bad thing to do to your readers. Cause like the Twilight fandom is so hardcore and like huge, so like people wanted to read that, and then it just ended, which is sad.
I remember seeing a post on Tumblr, and it was just like, I bet it was Robert Pattinson who leaked Midnight Sun, so he didn't have to do another movie.
That's so true.
That's the best.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, did anyone else find another question they liked?
There was one, I think, I don't know if it's Maria or Maria, but if you were Bella, would you have wanted Edward to turn you into a vampire instead of sucking the venom out? Or would you have wanted him to stop?
That's a good question, actually.
Yeah, that is really good.
Questions. Hey, my sister just tried to pull. No, it's working.
Cullen, it's playing that same clip over and over again. It's from the very beginning.
Our live. They're saying that the live show keeps playing over and over again, and it's not actually playing the show.
Really?
Oh no.
Yeah, like they pulled up the live show to watch it, and it's not doing the whole. Like this is what it's.
Wait.
What?
But we're getting
broadcasting. It said that we're live.
Yeah.
Is that right? Are we on the right?
What are y'all doing?
It says that we're live.
Yeah, it says we're live.
I'm watching it. This is weird.
If you're like, for anybody that's watching, can you just comment and let us know if it's not working for you? I guess you wouldn't see this and you wouldn't be able to do it anyway. But
I feel like
people are asking questions, so.
Asking questions. I think it's working.
Yeah, I hope so.
It says there's 10 people watching it. Y'all were on the wrong one.
Yeah, I'm watching. I just saw Kelly say that 10 people are watching it. So.
We are. Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. So, I mean, people are able to ask questions, so.
I'm watching it on YouTube, and it's like it's slow from like what I'm talking, but I see it going, and like
yeah, it's supposed to be like. It's supposed to be slower than what we're actually doing in real time. Like it just kind of carries off, so it'll be a little bit behind on YouTube, but not too much.
This is the right one.
Let me see. I'm gonna just put a thing on Twitter. In the meantime, why don't you guys answer it? Because I think it'll at least record this much if it's not going live. So if it's screwing up, then people can watch it.
You want to answer before, or are we gonna skip last, Emma?
I don't know. Well, Bella wanted. I don't know. In that situation, I probably would have wanted him to suck it out because
this is a different one.
So much pain. But I would want to be a vampire, so I probably after would have been like, I just wish he didn't like suck it out. But being in that much pain, I could totally understand like her wanting it to be sucked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Personally, like, I don't know. I mean, I could understand if there's going to be any vampire situation that I would want to be a vampire in, it would probably be the Twilight version of vampires, just because they can still go out into the sun, and I love sunlight. So pretty much in any other book, I would, or any other situation with types of vampires, I would not want to be a vampire. Like, I mean, I think I probably would have when I was 16. But now, I don't think that I would. Like, I think I would miss sunlight. I feel like I would miss human interaction. But in the context of Twilight, I feel conflicted because I like that you don't get old, you can kind of stay frozen right where you're at. And for me, because I always get really freaked out by the idea of aging, it's just one of those things that always kind of weirds me out. It would kind of fix that. But then it would also be really sad because I'm very close to my friends and my family, and it's not like they're vampires too. So they would all get old, and they wouldn't be around anymore, and I'd have to stand by and watch that and not grow old with them.
That's the thing with immortality and like any book series. Like, I relate to the Mortal Instruments on everything, but like there's a part, if you haven't read it, some dude's immortal in it, and there's just one part where he's talking to another guy who's like immortal, and they're saying how like in like 60 years or so it'll just be you and me left, and like just the thought of watching somebody age, like there's a downside to every thing in the world, but just like thinking of watching all the people you love age and die, and you still having to go on after it is just very upsetting.
Yeah, and I don't know if doing it for a boyfriend would be enough for me, because honestly, like, my family is more important to me than a guy, so.
Yeah, and like, what happens if you just like drift apart with the guy? Then you're stuck like as an immortal, and he's just off doing his own thing, so you're like completely alone. So like that would pretty much be the worst thing ever.
And I don't know, I just feel like it's too isolating and lonely for me, and I think that it would be one of those things that'd be really cool at first, but the longer I was a vampire, I think it would just, honestly, I think I'd end up really depressed. Plus, nobody would want me as a vampire, because I would not be a vegetarian, because I like animals way more than I like people.
Oh my gosh.
So, nobody wants me to be a vampire.
Does anyone else have a comment on this question? Because I found a couple of good ones on YouTube.
Yep, we're good. Go on.
Yeah, good.
Does anyone have any further comments on this one?
Nope.
If Edward was a popsicle flavor, what would he be?
What? No.
10 points for that question.
Salt and vinegar.
I could probably eat Edward popsicle sticks all day long.
Oh my god.
Can
Guys,
sexy
this Liveshow is officially rated PG-13. Like, rated R Liveshow. Don't watch it if you're like, oh my god.
You're like 8. You probably shouldn't watch any further.
Just rating right now. Just stops. Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna go with cherry.
That.
Just because he seems like a cherry.
It's definitely cherry.
Emma?
I don't know.
They're awesome, though. I just want to be their best friend.
I really like blueberry ice pops, so I'm gonna say blueberry because I really like Edward. I have to go on for this. How do you decide a popsicle flavor for a person?
I don't know. Are there
Whatever your
now? We're
favorite
supposed to like eat people.
real flavor is.
Mango. I don't know why. Just mango.
I think it's the best question of the live show.
Okay,
guys
wait, I have one.
What's yours,
You guys remember those like popsicles, the ones that are like red, white, and blue, but they got the 3 different colors, and I don't remember what they're called.
Firecrackers.
Firecrackers.
Hey, hold on one sec.
It'd be like,
People are calling
like
me
a
out.
salted vanilla, like salted caramel, but salty vanilla. I don't know why, but that just reminds me of like.
I feel like he smells like vanilla. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's what I think he smells like it. I think he would like, and like the salt's like part of his personality, like rugged, rough.
Rigid, yeah.
Yeah, rigid, rugged.
Okay.
That was a good question. I like
I really
that.
liked that question. That was very, very creative. This is one that I had as well, but it was also on YouTube. Your favorite member of the Cullen family?
Emmett.
Jasper.
I like Alice the best. Like,
Yeah,
obviously
I like Alice
Edward. I
too.
feel like Edward is like doesn't really count for this because everyone loves Edward. But like I remember reading about in one of the parts when it's like Alice and Jasper and Bella and like they're going to Phoenix, or maybe they're already in Phoenix, but Bella like wants to go and sacrifice herself just so they can stop running and like everyone will be safe. And Alice is just like, this isn't just about like you or me. Like
I went away for a second, so I don't know what question we're on.
Okay, we're favorite member of the Cullen family. And I was saying Alice because like there's one part when she's going away for like get James off her trail. Alice is like, it's not just about you or me or any of us. Like, you didn't see the change in Edward, but we did. Like, do you really think we want to look into his eyes for the next 100 years if he loses you? And, like, I just love how protective she is over Edward and Bella, too. Like, I just love her character. So I think she's definitely my favorite.
Emma, that was a great answer.
Yeah. Emma, that was
I had this one planned out as soon as I said
Emma.
All right, who else has what's your favorite, guys?
I like Emmett because he's funny, and I just like anybody who can make me laugh. So the second he made me laugh, I was just like, I'm in love with you. This is happening, and there is no question.
I'm the same way. I absolutely agree with that. Like, it makes me laugh. And I know one thing I liked about Alienated is the guy in Alienated, I was constantly laughing at what he said, and that's why I love the book so much. Emmett definitely did that for me in the Twilight series.
I feel like all of us are, like, I feel like funny characters are the best to read about because especially, like, a lot of books have, like, very, very dark, like, subtopics and stuff, and, like, you need that kind of relief in it, and that's why, like, they turn out to be, like, some of our favorite characters.
Yeah, definitely.
Who else didn't go? Red, what's your favorite Cullen? Who's your favorite Cullen?
It's kind of a toss-up because I do like Emmett because he's funny and he really is like a big teddy bear and he's just so adorable and I'm such a sucker for guys like that. I really am. But then, like, I really, really like Carlisle. Like, he seems like he's that person that you know is always going to be there for you. It doesn't matter what kind of trouble you're in. He's going to help you get out of it. If you don't know what decision to make, you don't know what the right direction is, he has so much life experience and understanding that he can help you through it without making you feel guilty, without making you feel bad, and giving you exactly what you need when you need it.
I was going to say Carlisle is also, like, my other favorite because like he is just like pure good. Like he does everything for the greater good and to protect his family and he's so selfless and like I just love him. Like I remember reading it and I was just like because like in the movies you don't get everyone's backstory and like I was like reading and I was just like damn it, like I really want Carlisle's backstory and then I turned the page and it's Carlisle's backstory and just really anything about his past was just like so intriguing and I loved reading about him.
I
think he'd be a good dad. Like, just he has that type of personality where he's just so caring that he'd just be an awesome
He is
dad.
a good dad. He's
I know. But like in real life, like to humans, I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. Just he would be a good dad
for kids. He'd be a good dad for kids.
Regardless of what happens.
Would you like to pull up a chair, Dave?
Who didn't go? Anya, did you go?
Oh no, I didn't. Alice definitely as well, like same as you. I just love her character and like one of my favorite parts in like the whole book series when she was planning Bella's wedding and like it just shows how compassionate she is and just how so much of like a nice genuine person she is and I don't know, I just love her.
Let's see. What other questions do we have?
We had one from Latham where he said, do you think that people should have realized something was wrong with Bella when she kept going to the hospital?
Yes. Seriously.
Oh my god.
That is such a Latham question.
That's been like one of the things
That's so
I've been saying, and I don't understand it.
There are so many parts of the book that are just like so unrealistic. Like
yeah.
Like her
Like, you just
reaction
keep
to a vampire, her reaction to Edward being a vampire especially, like it's just like, oh okay. Like she doesn't see, she's not freaked out at all. It just goes with it. And she actually wants
to know she's quirky and different and special.
She's so numb to emotion all the time.
And especially like what Red said, like when she finds out that he's been creeping on her in her sleep, she's just like, oh, that's so cute. I'm like, what? What are you saying? Like that just makes no sense. I feel like if you saw somebody in the middle of the night just like looking at you sleeping, you'd like, I don't know, grab a knife, stab them. I don't know. Why would she think?
I would freak out.
Hi.
Yeah, the
She was in the hospital twice, right? She was in the hospital twice in the book, right? Once for the car crash, and then the next one.
Oh, once for the accident, and then once for the falling down the staircase thing.
Yeah.
Twice.
But I think she just talks more about how she's always in the hospital for something because she's always getting hurt or falling or something.
Yeah, I feel like she is very active.
I mean, seriously, like.
Yeah.
But I mean, seriously, she says that she can't even run without falling, and I'm just like, what is wrong with you? I don't understand. Like, I feel like this is supposed to be a character detail and a character quirk, but it's kind of just odd and unrealistic more than anything.
No, honestly, like when she was getting like chased by the guys in Port Angeles, and like she kept like falling, like
so like natural horror movie cliche.
I don't remember.
She keeps falling.
I don't remember if she actually kept falling or she would. I feel like she was like, I can't run because I'll fall over. I'm checking that out. I honestly feel like that's what she said.
I think that's what she said. I remember
Something like that. She's like, I can't run, I'll fall.
I'm like 90% sure.
Yeah, she doesn't even like contemplate it. She's just like, that's not happening.
Nope, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Honestly, like, who stops and thinks about it? Oh, well, I could run away from the bad guys, but, you know, I could fall, too. I think my natural reaction would be to just run, and then if I fall, I fall.
And she gets in, like, natural fighting stance, and she's thinking of all the stuff that her dad taught her to fight with and stuff. That would not be me. I'd be freaking out.
Yeah. I'd probably be crying.
You know, and I'm pretty, seriously, like, I don't care how much fight I have in me. My parents raised me that if there is a group of strange men that are coming after you, you do not stand there and try to fight them.
Yes.
You go to a public area and stay away.
Oh yeah, it says right here, they sounded farther back though, and I knew they could outrun me in any case. I was sure to trip and go sprawling if I tried to go any faster, and she was walking at this point, so yeah.
Oh my god.
It's just like,
She knows.
I'm gonna fall. She's so like, where's your balance? Like, I thought you did dance. Where's your balance? You need. Like,
She did suck at ballet though. She sucked
yeah,
at it.
that's true. But still, you still have balance. Like, you still gain.
I mean, does she have, like, this, like, inner ear imbalance or what?
She has, like
she seriously needs to get checked out for this and tested. Like, get her an MRI.
When they
Somebody
were
get this girl a doctor. Carlisle, what are you doing? You're supposed to be helping her.
Right? What the hell?
You're a doctor. Shouldn't you be able to figure out why? Shouldn't he, like, be able to notice, be like, okay, this is not average behavior, so I think we should run some tests because there's clearly something very wrong with you. You're a doctor. You should be able to recognize this.
Exactly.
Alright, I have another one. Helen Lutz is gorgeous, which he is. What do you think the worst decision Stephanie Meyer made in the book?
Oh, goodness.
I know a lot of people complain about the grammar, and that was something we discussed on week 1 in the thing about how like everyone like thinks that her grammar is terrible in the book, but I didn't pick up on that at all.
I didn't pick up on that.
I think
it's just simple.
I totally.
It's not a problem.
it was
Hold
just
on,
so
I'm gonna go
like,
away for a second.
laid back, and it was just so simple writing. Like, it was just, there's no like huge adjectives, there's no big words, it's just kind of like all very flat, but it's still enjoyable, which was like kind of weird for me, because if I read like a different book that had that writing style, I would probably put it down because it would be so boring. But I feel like the storyline made the writing better, so it all worked out in the end.
I feel like the worst thing, like the biggest mistake in the book was like how she, like, we were talking about it before, like, what am I even saying? Like, I totally just lost my train of thought. Somebody else go.
Okay, well, another thing. Well, in the book, I mean, it's obvious she did it like this because it sets up for the next books, but, why didn't Edward fight James while they were at the baseball place if he knew he was going to come after her anyway? Like, you should have...
Oh my god.
Serious.
That is such a good point.
That is a really
You used to made your life so much more difficult.
Oh my gosh.
right.
I think for
Yeah,
I
okay.
feel like it kind of has to do with the characters, and I kind of have like a very love-hate opinion on this because there's some things about the characters that I absolutely love, and they make me identify with the characters. Like, I like for example, Bella's a hothead, you know, and some of her reactions I feel like are very plausible reactions. But I think Stephanie almost, you know, she's trying so hard to make her characters unique and different that I almost feel like she takes it too far sometimes and takes it into that realm where it's just there's no believability in the characters, and it's like, okay, and it makes it hard for me to get into, you know, because believability is such an important part of any story. It doesn't matter what it's about, it's extremely important, and I feel like that would break that believability, and rather than keep me in the story, it would just make me more critical. And that's not all the time, because there are some things I really like about the characters, but I feel like she overcompensated in some parts.
I remember what I wanted to say. What I didn't like about the book was how a lot of Bella's reactions were very unbelievable and unrealistic. Like, we were talking about like her reaction to him being a vampire, and like she didn't really care, like all of that. Like, I get that it's fantasy, but like it was supposed to take place in like a normal world with a normal teenager, and I feel like regardless of who you are, like, you're gonna be freaked out if the guy you have a crush on says he's a vampire. Like,
right.
And seriously, like, you don't love your family? You're gonna meet a guy and you're just gonna give them up like that because he's really hot?
Yeah. Or like when he's like telling her to tell Charlie that she's going to the meadow with them, or to Seattle, and he's like, "You're gonna tell him, right?" And she's like, "No, I don't really feel like telling him." I'm like, "Tell him! He's asking you to tell him."
I feel like a lot of Bella's character wasn't very believable, and I think that was like the worst decision, I guess, to not like make her like more relatable. I guess
because you know, and
about the book.
And toning that down might have made her a bit more average. That's okay, because that's what we relate to as readers. We want somebody that we can relate to. You know, we don't want, you know, because I feel like a lot of people want to identify with Bella, and some of her reactions, like, I don't know, it just, I feel like it's okay to make your character average. That's okay. It's not going to ruin the story, you know, because everybody is like similar and different all at the same time, and it is totally okay to make your characters like that.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
This is kind of a different road to go down, but my sister said this, and I think she's right. I think as far as the fandom goes, something that kind of messed her up is when she made the vampire sparkly, because it doesn't really do anything to the story, but it makes people hate the books because the vampires are sparkly.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what I was talking about earlier too. Is it just, that was my very first impression of the book, was why are they sparkly, and I kept waiting for an explanation. Like, I understand they have to be really good looking. It's part of basically luring in their prey. But the sparkles, like, that absolutely does nothing. It has nothing to do with being a vampire at all. It does nothing for them. There's no purpose in it. And I personally really prefer books where the writing and things that happen have a purpose, and I just don't feel like it does. And it kind of decreases the, I can't think of the right word, the value, the merit, something in that, like, ballpark, you know, of the book. It decreases, like, people's impressions of the book when they might otherwise have liked it.
I like how she
Like,
made it a
first,
play.
like, the first thing I thought when they said that they were sparkly was, the first thing I thought was unicorns.
Yeah, like,
That
I feel
is
like that was
It was definitely very whimsical in a not whimsical book. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
I remember like talking to people and they were like, "Oh my God, you're reading Twilight? Like, isn't that about the vampires that sparkle? You're so weird. That is so weird. Why do they sparkle?" I'm like, well, I know it sounds weird, but like you can't just judge it based on the fact that the characters that are vampires sparkle. Like, that's just
Yeah, it's like if you exclude that, then you might actually understand.
Yeah, but they don't get it. They're just like, oh, they sparkle. It's like, that's such a trash book. I'm like, you haven't even read it. You don't
You're a
understand.
trash book.
Like, I definitely appreciate how she tried to like take a play on like already made vampire legends, like how they can't go out in sunlight, but rather than them actually like burning to death when they go in the light, like she changed it to make it a little bit different. So I appreciate the effort, but like it was weird.
It messed up the fandom.
Doesn't
And I
get
know that she based it on a dream, and I don't know if they sparkled in her dream, and that was a reason that she included it, was because it was an aspect of her dream. However, I feel like that might have been a detail she could have left out.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
necessarily like good for the book or a part or a big part of the book.
I feel like the way it's described in the book is definitely different than the way that they adapted it in the movie. Like, I think the way Bella described it was like they were like diamonds embedded into its skin. But I kind of like envisioned it more shiny, not like as glittery. And in the movie, it looked like he literally rolled around in glitter. Like, I feel like that definitely has big impact onto the way that people feel about it who haven't read the books.
Yeah, it reminds me of this girl I went to high school with, and literally this was like before the movies came out, but she was completely 100% obsessed with Twilight. Like, she could quote it at length. I'm not even kidding. And every single day, she bought like this like cosmetic glitter, and there was like this big brush thing on it, and she would put it all over her body and make sure that she sparkled every goddamn day at school. That's Edward.
Oh my god.
That is so funny. That's like that girl that had Twilight tattooed on her back. She had. Do you guys remember that picture where it's like it's Robert Pattinson's
His face
on her back? Like like her full back is like Edward and Bella, and I'm just like.
Oh my god. Or I actually, one of my friends in high school, like, I don't talk to her anymore, but like my sophomore year, she was like, she was probably one of my best friends, and her stepdad was a tattoo artist. And for one of her first tattoos, she got something else tattooed too, but for one of her first tattoos, she wanted Twilight tattooed on her foot, right? Because she loved the book. Right? Cool, whatever, you know, to each their own, except he messed it up and he put a cross through the L, so it says Twilight.
Stuck on her body forever.
Oh my god. People. Oh.
Hold on.
Why are Twilight tattoos the only ones that actually like fail? Like people, they almost come out wrong all the time. Like whenever I see a Twilight tattoo, like it's always a fail. I'm like,
The Harry Potter ones are all perfect.
yeah.
They're all so amazing, but the Twilight ones are just terrible. No offense if anyone has a Twilight tattoo who's watching.
Yeah.
And I actually have like book and movie related tattoos, and I like Twilight, but I don't know that I could ever. I don't know. I think I just like, as much as I enjoy Twilight, I don't identify with it on a very extremely personal level. Like, it doesn't hit me. You know, it doesn't punch me in the heart, you know, like some books do that leave an impression. And it's, as much as I like it, I don't know that it's one of those books that emotionally sticks with me.
Right.
You know, so I don't think I could get it tattooed for that purpose.
And it's all personal too. Like, I think people could find quotes that mean something to them in the book and put that on themselves. But like, I don't know about Edward's face.
Just like boom, Edward's on the ribcage.
It's not even just Edward. Like 90% of the time, it's Robert Pattinson. So you're also having that actor's face on your body.
Like, what happens when you meet him and you have like a tank top on and he sees like the corner of his face on your back? He's like, oh, that's a cool. Oh,
that's me.
Wait, I just feel like that'd be such an embarrassment to just like go up to him and to just have this like portrait of his face on your skin.
I have another really good question right here. Without Twilight, what do you think the YA genre would be like?
Oh my god.
I really feel like, honestly, if nothing else, whether you're a Twilight hater, a Twilight lover, it doesn't even matter. I feel like Twilight really revolutionized the young adult genre and turned it into what it is and created such a demand for it that we actually have more people willing to write in the young adult genre because of Twilight, if that makes sense.
Read.
It started people's
So
love
many
for
people
it.
got started reading because of Twilight. So I feel like it just created a demand for the books, and that's why we have so many books that we have now, is because people wanted to read the books. And that's just awesome.
I'm going to relate this to Mortal Instruments, but I remember seeing Cassandra Clare talking about how it was the Mortal Instruments was originally first like turned down because she wrote it before Twilight, and like nobody wanted to read about vampires and stuff then. And like the reason it got published was because Twilight was out and people were very interested in like this whole fantasy world with vampires and mythical creatures and stuff. And I feel like that's definitely something that like applies to like a lot of series. Like I feel like without the way that Twilight was portrayed in young adult, like the way that vampires were portrayed in young adult literature definitely has an impact on like future vampire writings or like different fantasy books that come out now. Like the reason, like the way that I am just. Somebody continue.
And I kind of, and I really feel like, Twilight created this young adult demand among readers, which created a demand among publishers, because I'm sure that it's not necessarily that people weren't writing in the young adult genre so much as there wasn't a demand for it in publishing. So very few came through, and it really limited. And now, they constantly want new young adult books because we create such a large money-making demographic for them. And I was actually talking to one of my friends, another YouTuber, Jen from Today in Jen's Library, and she's a little bit older, so she can kind of relate to how limited everything was like when she was our age, and how there just wasn't the selection like we have. Like, we are so lucky compared to our parents who might have actually loved to read this when they were growing up, and when they were our age.
Yeah, I totally.
I feel like it kickstarted a lot of people's like want to read because it was so like controversial, really, because people were like talking bad about it, people were talking good about it. There were so many different opinions, so a lot of people bought it and they wanted to read it. So I feel like that just grouped a bunch of people together into reading a book, and then they just continued on with it, which like really made a difference in the book community.
I feel like when people talk about fantasy, like the two main ones are Harry Potter and Twilight, and that's a big thing to like have like, be up there. Not even just with Harry Potter, but like if you ask people like name like 3 different fantasy series, even if they're not a reader, they're gonna say Twilight. And I think that definitely has a big effect on the writing industry, especially for young adults.
Like Twilight changed so much.
And
like,
because it inspired themselves. Like, I know.
Thing.
Wait, Ren,
oh, sorry, go ahead, Anya.
Wait, what?
What
Sorry,
were you
your
saying
voices
again?
are all like going together.
Oh, like it like blocked you out, so it sounded like nobody was talking, and I was just like, oh, I'm gonna fill the void.
Sorry. No, I was just saying that like Twilight completely changed like the whole like Comic-Con thing, because before that there was no such like fandom going to Comic-Con, and then when you see like all these like huge lines from Twilight from like a few years back, you just saw like what a big impact Twilight really did have.
Because Twilight was one of the first too, like, like now everyone does like every book series, the last book is 2 parts, and I guess that Harry Potter did it first, but Twilight was right after that, and like, the whole like midnight release thing got like really, really big around the time that Twilight was going on. Like, obviously it was a big thing before that too, but I mean like for like books, like I feel like Twilight changed a lot, and everything would be totally different if Twilight was never written.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I feel very grateful to Twilight for that reason. Yeah. Like, the exact reason you're just talking about.
Like, I was never like, is anybody watching the time? Because how long have we been going for?
About an hour and 15 minutes.
Okay. Do you know how long?
Yeah, and I'm going to have to get off in about 5, because I've got family plans tonight.
Okay,
it's
so
like nearly 1 a.m. here.
Okay, so do you guys want to... Oh, where's Kelly?
Yeah. Oh.
What's happened to Kelly?
Oh, no. Yeah, we can wrap it up really quick. Do you guys just want to answer one more question?
Sure.
And then wrap it up. Is there a specific movie scene that you think the producers did justice or totally screwed up?
Ooh.
Did justice. I really didn't like how the meadow scene wasn't in there.
I knew you were going to say that.
Or the piano scene when he writes her the song, Bella's Lullaby, it was kind of just thrown in there in the background, and we never really got a chance to hear it. And it was a big part of the second book, too, which wasn't in the movie at all, so I don't know. I would really like to see the piano scene, and I don't know, what scene do I like? I like,
so many noises.
Sorry, I'm trying to find out where Kelly is.
I know, where else you're like this thing.
I know, like all of our phones are going off.
Someone I like, 'cause I don't know. I like them all.
I personally think that the baseball scene was done very, very well. I feel like that's exactly how I imagined it. Okay, here's Kelly again.
Here, my internet's acting crazy.
I feel like it was like the I think one of the quotes Bella was like, oh, that's why you need the thunder. Like every time they hit the ball, the thunder crashed, and like the whole like cinematography of it. I think that was done very, very well. And the whole scene in the forest was strange.
Yeah.
I think one thing I did like about that though is when Edward's like having that whole spiel about how like he's a monster and like you can't outrun them and like why you should be afraid of him, if you guys remember that scene. Like the way Robert Pattinson is talking, like you can see that like there's like the underlying hate for himself for being a vampire, and like why he like you can like understand from that scene like why he doesn't want to give Bella this kind of life because he doesn't like who he is because he's a vampire, and I think that was done very well on Robert Pattinson's part as well.
I would agree with that. I think for me, like again, with the exception of what you're just talking about, the one thing that comes to mind that I just did not like in Twilight was the whole horror scene. It was just so strange and awkward for me. And I'm like, I feel like this is the part that's supposed to be romantic, like they're really finally being honest and connecting. And it was just awkward. It was so awkward and uncomfortable more than anything. I think a really good scene though.
Does anyone else have any scenes that they thought the producer screwed up or they thought that they did really good?
I just like the baseball scene again. Was just amazing.
I feel like just Bella's character was so poorly done in the movie just because of all of her like facial expressions and her weird quirks. Like I just didn't follow that. I'm just like, why do you keep doing this? Like it's kind of getting annoying. Like I felt like annoyed with her character in the movie, but like in the book she was kind of fine. But like in the movie, just like, oh, Kristen Stewart, why?
I thought of a scene that I like the scene when she goes to meet the family and they're all cooking Italian food for her and Emmett wears a giant knife and it's just like so cute.
I love their house.
And Rosalie crushes the ball. That's another thing. The house is completely different in the book. It's like very, very classical, I think, but I like the modernness of it.
Because I feel like it completely undermines the whole vampire stereotype, which I really like.
That was definitely very.
I like their little graduation cap, like memorial wall. That was really a nice touch that the movie did.
I completely forgot about that. I really liked that. Any further comments? Because I know a few you have to go.
No.
No?
I think that just about kind of wraps up my thoughts. So, like, without getting into another long spiel that will be on for another half hour.
Does anyone want to just wrap up their thoughts? What'd you say?
We didn't even play a game.
We have 3 more live shows. We can play all the games we want.
I know, but
I'm really excited about our other live shows now. Like, I'm super excited about them. This was fun.
I honestly, I think the reason like we should have played games was because like we thought that nobody would be participating in the questions, but like all we did was answer questions from other people.
It's so exciting though. I'm glad that people are really getting involved.
Seriously, you guys, like those of you that are watching, you guys are awesome. Like you guys made this so much fun for us.
Yeah. If anyone watching isn't actually in the Twilight read-along, you definitely should join because we have 3 more of these coming. So yeah.
Yep.
I think everyone's in it, but if you're not, come join us. Alrighty. So are we good? We're good?
I think we're good. I gotta get going.
Are we all hosting the different ones? Like, are there gonna be?
Yeah, I think they're gonna change. I think we said we're gonna change channels and like possibly like add people or so.
Like, are there gonna be different channel hosts for the next 3 books?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we said that. I think that way like everyone has a chance to do it.
And I'm really excited to be talking about the other books too, because the other books just get so much more in depth.
I have like discussions already planned in my head.
I know, like as I'm like reading New Moon, I'm like, oh my god, we can talk about this and we can talk about this.
It's so exciting. All right, so I guess we're good to sign off. So
all right,
I hate
talking to you guys.
Yeah, this was so much fun. I hope everyone else enjoyed watching it.
That was such a fun chat.
Yeah, I definitely love getting to do this. It's very fun.
We'll see you guys in another month, I guess.
Yep.
All right, see ya.
All right, bye, everybody.
Bye.